So now all the participants, you are fortunate to listen Professor Dr. Chandil. He is the Dean, Faculty of Management of Alagappa University. And he is the Dean of Management. And he is heading the Department of Logistics Management of Alagappa University. So the concept of logistics helps us to get this guidance and direction for organizing the great event at national level. And he is the erudite scholar, and he has possessed the art of management. And what we discussed, leadership and excellence. So please, you listen this lecture, you can identify the leadership in management and the process of achieving excellence in management. And an important credential of Professor Sendil I would like to share with you. And here he has worked with Dr. Abdul Kalam ji, the former President of India, and the icon of youth. And he is the role model. Dr. Kalam ji is the role model for achieving excellence in all walks of life. So Dr. M. Sendil is going to address to you on leadership qualities. He has worked with Dr. Kalam for many years. Under his leadership, he has worked. So he is the right person to speak about leadership and excellence to the participants of AICTE ATAL Faculty Development Workshop. And the rich experience he has possessed in leading the academic institution and leading the specific management domain, and he is the leader of the Faculty of Management and possessing the post of Dean. And he held so many positions in the university. Many administrative positions he has occupied. So we are fortunate to listen Professor Sendil today, and he will deliver a specific theme to you, the qualities of leader, that is the leadership qualities. And he has publication, the credential publication he has in his career. And he has provided a lot of input to management graduates, and he has trained the management graduates, and in the same footing he will train you today. Sir, your presence gives a great blessings to all the participants, and you are standing as a model to them in the management discipline. And with due respect, I invite you to deliver a special lecture to the participants of FDP sponsored by AICTE ATAL 2020 scheme. So I welcome you, sir. Please meet our participants. They are highly receptive, they are highly resourceful, and the participants are versatile in nature, and they are so dynamic. Thank you, sir. Please meet the participants.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful introduction. And first of all, I would like to congratulate Professor Gurumurthy and his team from the Department of Commerce, because many people have applied for this programs through ATAL scheme. And Commerce Department is one of the department which was fortunate to get that. In the sense, the proposal was state of the art and need of the hour. So they have sanctioned the program, faculty development program, to the Department of Commerce. And I really am happy, and I really congratulate them for this wonderful achievement. Number one. Number two, okay, I'll try the screen things. I'll try. Number two, from him, I'm continuously in touch with Professor Gurumurthy and his team, and I came to know that people were eager to log in and block the slots, because we know that a maximum of 200 plus candidates only can get registered, And many of the people from other states, especially from northern states and other places, so they have blocked their slot earlier itself. So that is a nice thing to know. And as a dean, I'm also happy that we are reaching out to masses. And congratulations to the Department of Commerce for having such a kind of a reach, as well to the participants for, hailing from various institutions across the country. And I'm happy to be with amidst you. And being the first session, hope you would have got a cue or share of mind of our Honorable Vice Chancellor. And Sir is Vice Chancellor, is a doyen of academics, and he would have given the great amount of insights into what's going to come for the next 5 days. Professor Gurumurthy also would have given a good amount of input on how these things are going to span out for the next 5 days. So feel happy, and this is very accommodative team that has launched this particular program, faculty development program. And generally, if it is face to face, I would have been much happier to see the faces and interact with you. Now, this is an order. That's a new norm on education, that we need to meet people through online. And let us set certain norms for us. Like if you have any query, you can come on a chat box. Depending on what kind of query, I'll get what do you call on screen. I'll get people and discuss with them. Otherwise, I'll reserve it for the end of our question and answer session. So let's go through, because leadership, everybody is a leader. Probably at home we are leaders, at our office we are leaders, and it doesn't matter which age you are in. Not necessary that you need to be a senior professor to be branded as a leader. At every walk of life, we do lead things. The thing is, the qualities. Faculty development program, I need not teach you the fundas, but basically we can take it as a kind of a refreshing work, which we are going to take up from now to 1:15 p.m. So let's see. Two parts I'm trying to look at. One is the leadership qualities per se, and the second is under the new norm, how things are going to change. That's what we are trying to look at this particular time. Right. One minute, something. Somebody made a request for a screen size increase, which I have done. Right. Let's see. Who is talking about this particular definition? Steve Jobs, one of the most respected management icons, which you have seen, co-founder of Apple Incorporated, Steve Jobs. What he says about management. Management is about persuading people. Is the word persuasion does that mean that you have to beg or you have to coerce, that kind of a thing? It is a kind of persuasion by action, persuading people to do things that they do not want to. Now the question is, volunteers are there. Normally, if you take any organization, people voluntarily do come and do the work. Some people without voluntariness, but they do the work. Some people have to be told to do the work. Some other people to be forced or coerced to do the job. Now, his definition about management is about persuading people to do things they don't want to do. That's management. While leadership is about inspiring people to do things they never thought they could. The word inspiring, the most important word is inspiring. This inspiring is one which we could see in the working of Steve Jobs. when he was alive and working with Apple Incorporated as a CEO, as a founder. He was taken as an icon, exemplary leader in the whole management community, and whatever the word he utters, that is noted with high esteem. So that's what Steve Jobs says about leadership, and we'll go into further what exactly a good leader means. A good leader, let's say, what are the characteristics? You can also do some introspection over here. If any of these 10, all the 10, or few of the 10, if it is there within you, you can say that you have come as a better teacher, better leader, sorry, not teacher, better leader. The first is integrity. The first and foremost thing in life, when you want somebody to respect you, you need to have the integrity. Whether you belong to whichever section, first thing, integrity to yourself, integrity to your home, to your profession, to your institution. So that integrity is one of the most important things in anybody to be identified as a leader. Then ability to delegate, communication, self-awareness, gratitude, learning agility, influence, empathy, courage, and respect. Now, a small exercise. Let's say this slide is on, and you are around 158 people are here. Out of this 10, you can say how many things you are okay. How many characteristics I have? Can you just come on chat? Yes, Fernandez with 7. Golap 5. Raghavarao 5. At Loganathan 7. Ranjini 5. 6. In itself is minuscule. Somebody says others are able to see. Martina, you can just okay, 6, 7. All the 1 minute. Shanmuga Valli R. Can you come online? Shanmuga Valli R.
Sir?
1 minute, ma. 1 minute. Who is that? Who is that Shanmuga Valli R? I would like to see her. Come on, my video, you come on. I would like to see you. You are looking at the other side of the light. So, very good. All the above, Peter, Manjunath, they also mentioned all 10 characteristics I have, and I congratulate those who have mentioned. Shamuli, you should sit with the light on focusing you, not otherwise. Your backside is so bright. Right. You can go on a mute. Right. The thing is, there are people. There are about half a dozen people. They said that I am having all the 10 characteristics that can be identified for somebody to be called as a good leader. Somebody says 10, excellent. So that is a kind of a thing. That's an introspection that we can say. Dr. N. Ganapati from SRM DAC says 10 out of 10. It's nice to hear and nice to watch. Let's say we'll go to the details one by one. Then we can say whether to what extent we are having those numbers counted. Integrity. When you say that integrity, whether it's important or otherwise for a good leader, it's obvious that integrity is very, very important. Without integrity, however tall you are, whatever the position you occupy, you will not be able to get recognized. If somebody makes a query that to enlarge the screen, if I enlarge the screen, I cannot get into the chat box. Problem. 1 minute. I will try otherwise. Now is it okay? Somebody can say audio because I'm not looking at the. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are able to see. Okay. Screen is visible. I've opened the other one also. Right. The importance of integrity is very obvious. Without integrity, you will not be respected even at your home. Is essential. Integrity is essential for the individual and for the organization. There are certain organizations which are highly respected, irrespective of what profit they make. Okay, if we say certain name of the organization, people in the business, they say that yes, that institution is good, institution is great, as well the institution is one of the exemplary institutions in the market. Some time back, a question was asked to compare a couple of businessmen and how a businessman can be analyzed. Beautifully, Ratan Tata gave the answer. There are people, two kinds of people. Some are businessmen, some are industrialists. The businessman looks at only business. Industrialist looks at the whole industry, not necessarily their own organization, whole industry, how it should move, how it should grow, that kind of a thing. So the integrity may actually be a potential blind spot for the organization. This is again, we would like to say that, what do you mean by the blind spot? The blind spot here, it's very important because a good leader, if he commands respect and if he is expected to take the company or organization beyond a particular level. If the leader himself is stuck in a blind spot, then the organization may doom to fail also in the future. Because everybody thinks that chairman is giving the vision for the organization as well as the board of directors. Yes, it is true. If they themselves have a blind spot and they are not able to move forward, definitely that's not going to be a good space, not good for the company as such. So the blind spots generally that need to be avoided. If anybody has a kind of a blind spot, not able to think beyond a particular level of a month or a year or 3 years, 5 years, definitely you can practice it and become a good leader. Reinforce the importance of integrity to leaders at various levels. The first point that has come in, the first line that has come in, that the leader need to have integrity. The last part that comes in is that we have to reinforce, the leader has to reinforce the integrity to leaders at various levels. What does it mean? It means that the entire organization has a good value system, good morality, good ethical system. So if you take some of the companies, which is identified as one of the companies which follow a great ethical practice, they don't get into any sort of unethical practice. And you can ask a question that whether it's a business without some sort of some percentage of unethical thing, can you survive? Yes, you can survive. That's where the leadership quality, leaders are identified. Maybe some people are doing great, but people, not all the people are admired at the same level. Ability to delegate. Delegating is one of the core responsibilities of the leader. Because many people, they are good workers. At the entry level, they do the work by themselves. It's fine. That's what is expected. But when they grow up in the organization, they need to know how to delegate the job, how to give the job to others, and how the split work breakdown structure has to be applied to split the job into multiple small jobs or micro level jobs and give it to the subordinates. It's not necessary that the subordinates can directly do the job. That's what the previous thing comes, that leaders at various levels, they need to be developed. So like you are there, leaders also need to be developed. Delegation is one of the core responsibilities of a leader, but it can be tricky to delegate effectively. The word tricky comes in because you have a system, not necessarily, let's say, for example, I have a system, not necessarily you will have the same system. You may have a better system or your system may not be up to the mark. So that's where the question tricky comes in. So leaders should be able to identify, filter people, and give the task that can be done effectively by the individual to whom it is delegated. The goal is not just to free yourself up. There are some leaders There are some bosses, what they do is that when job comes to you, you immediately pass on to your subordinate and keep quiet. It is a task of the subordinate to struggle, complete the job, and submit to you, and you take the credit. It is not to free up. I'll give an example here. Way back, I don't know, many of you, some of you, not many, some of you would not have born at that time. I'm talking about a time frame of 1990, that is 30 years down the line. 30 years down the line, I was a young scientist at Defense Research and Development Organization working with Dr. Kalam. At the time, we went for, you may be knowing about Indian Guided Missile Program. And one of the missile was Agni. Agni is a surface-to-surface intercontinental ballistic missile. So that has been tested in the year 1990. So we were all working for that. From the planning side, from the planning and program analysis department, I was a deputy manager for that particular flight. We were working. And when we were working, we went for the trial at Balasur. And at the time, the project director, Dr. Agarwal, he was there. And when we were trying to fly the missile, there was some sort of a technical issue that has come in. So the missile launch has to be stopped. That was the first attempt we made. So that was electrical leakage was there. So that has forced us to stop the launch at that particular time. We were all there in the control room, and press were eagerly waiting. On the other side of the control room, the then Prime Minister was also waiting to see the launch that is successfully getting carried out. There was a technical flaw, and they cannot go beyond a particular level of clearance that need to be grounded. So missile did not take off. Press was waiting. Countdown was going on from 10, 9, 8, 7, and so on. Missile didn't take off. Everybody was perplexed. Then who has to face the press? Is it the chief of all the missiles, Dr. Kalam, or the chief of that particular missile, the project director? Dr. Kalam said, Dr. Agarwal, I will face the press. He went there to the press. Press was very eager, and they were asking different questions. Why this is, we are not able to launch the particular flight. Is there any problem? Whether India is not able to do the technical, not having the technical competency to do that? All these sorts of questions were asked. The questions were answered effectively by Dr. Kalam. He didn't allow Dr. Agarwal, the project director, to come to the front and face press. Dr. Kalam addressed the entire audience, and he said, in another 15 days' time, you will hear the good news that Agni missile is launched. With that, he closed the press meeting. And then, that is a message for all the planning guys as well as the project people, that within 15 days, we have committed, we have to fly. The leader who knows the subject, he knows the delegation, where to give the responsibility, where to take the responsibility. Dr. Kalam is not a particular type of person that just freeing up himself by delegation. Then he said, he closed the press meeting and came for discussion, and we all have worked 15 days, day and night, and we have launched as per the deadline. We launched a successful night during May 1990. A successful launch of missile was conducted. Agni has flown in, made a record that India has joined the Super League of Nations as a country which has intercontinental ballistic missile Agni. Missile was successful. Now you should have a press meet. Then Dr. Kalam said, Dr. Agarwal, you are the chief architect, you are the project director, go and meet the press. Everybody was happy. Dr. Kalam was standing next to Dr. Agarwal. Dr. Agarwal was conducting the press conference. As a project director, he is slogged, and the credit was given by Dr. Kalam to the project director when success was there. When there was a problem, when there was an issue, he kept all his subordinates at his back, and he, from the forefront, he addressed the media, faced the issue. It's a kind of delegation. That's what is being looked. That's the reason probably Dr. Kalam is remembered even after so many years of his passing away. That's a kind of a thing which we could not, what do you call, digest. Even I could not digest that. That probably that's a thing that has given him the kind of lift to raise to the level of President of India, Honorable President of India. So, like, in order to delegate well, you also need to build trust with your team. Whatever the example I said, you can just correlate with the last word, build trust with your team. Within 15 days, I will fly, I'll give a successful, happy news to press people. That's what the Dr. Kalam said at that time. And entire team worked and delivered. See the kind of example for a delegation, right? Right. Now, communication. Effective leadership and effective communication are intertwined. They are blended. If a leader has to be effective, naturally the what do you call, the communication has to be very, very positive. If the communication is not good, not able to reach out to subordinates, there's no point. Communicate in a variety of ways, from transmitting information to coaching your people. You can see the communication. You can even read through the body language. A leader, you take any finance minister who was presenting a budget, whether it is a central government or your state government, when they are presenting a budget, entire media is focused on them. Entire stock market is watching their movement. What a finance minister is going, what is they are having in their briefcase, what they are going to say in the parliament about the next financial year, forthcoming financial year, and what are the schemes or concessions they are going to give. Based on a cue they are getting, the stock markets will vibrate positively or negatively. So they look at the body language of the leader, the finance minister at the time. Any finance minister, if you take, any time, any year, if you take, the stock market is curiously will be watching. The people who are following the things at Parliament, they will be seeing the finance minister is seems to be very happy, so they may give some concessions, they may give some policy friendly to industry. That kind of interpretation also they can give. Or otherwise, they are grim. Probably a tough budget is going to come. This kind of issues will be debated, and when they start debating about a particular leader's body language itself, the stock markets will vibrate, forex market will vibrate. So that is a kind of thing, from transmitting information, radiating information through or understanding people through their body language. That's also part of studying a leader. Right. Then must be able to communicate with a long range of people across roles, social identities, and more. A good leader, whether you are at entry level or at apex chairman or managing director, when you try to look at social identities, that means that the stakeholders from different walks of life, they will also be interested in getting to know about things, and must be able to communicate with a range of people. If you want to become a good leader, not necessarily with a set of people you are successful, with another set of people you are a failure. No, that's not an acceptable one. You should be a successful person all through, with all society stakeholders who are connected with your organization are connected with you. Better conversation can improve the workplace culture. Better conversation. When I was visiting United States, and a factory, if you look at the entrance of the factory, they will put a signboard. Today is so-and-so's birthday. The organization joins everyone to wish that so-and-so on their birthday. Happy birthday, so-and-so. So when such a kind of culture is there, then when we are entering the factory itself, we tend to look at whose birthday is today, and we wish the concerned person. The concerned person feels happy, and the concerned person passes on that particular happiness to everybody in the organization. So when I talk about this workplace culture, I give you an example. In the Indian Express, in the last page, earlier times, there used to be a kind of a write-up. The write-up, Art Buchwald, that's what he writes on that. And one of the writing I still remember, a person, an executive will get into a taxi. An executive will get into the taxi, and the taxi driver politely he wishes, "Sir, welcome, sir. Where you want to go?" With all good pleasantry things, he passes to the customer. And when the executive locks off, gets out of the car, and the driver gets.
Sorry, sir. I interrupt you. Actually, your screen size is very small, and we cannot see that. Very right down there. It is on 40%. Please do it on 100% so that we all can see the screen.
Is it okay now?
Yeah. Very much better.
Okay. Thank you. May I know who is on the who is guiding
Thank you,
me?
sir. Thank you, sir.
No, may I know who is guiding me?
Poonam Gupta, sir.
Poonam Gupta from
Poonam Gupta from Goa.
Goa. Nice to know Dr. Poonam Gupta. Oh, somebody says, Dr. Yadaya says, thank you, sir. Sorry, I'm very sorry for that. From my side, it was so visible, I continued. Okay, nice.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
welcome, Dr. Poonam. Right. Right. Okay, that taxi wala, I'll come back. The executive, when he's getting down, the taxi wala, again he impresses the executive by saying, "Sir, wish you a happy day. Have a nice time." That's where the taxi wala he is there. And while traveling, the executive was also keeping the taxi wala engaged. Happily, the conversation went on between the passenger and the taxi wala. Passenger is out. He has gone to his workplace. The workplace for a taxi wala is his vehicle only. So the taxi wala is happy. He's so much impressed by the conversation he had with the first passenger. And what happened after that? Some other passenger gets in. Third passenger, fourth passenger. With all the people, the taxi driver was reciprocating a good ambience, or he has created a good ambience within his taxi. And whoever gets in to this car or taxi, they get out happily. So the question is, who ignites that good or improve the workplace culture? It is everybody's task that wherever we work, remember in life, in a day, if you take a good sleep 8 hours, you work for a company 8 hours, then your travel, personal needs, spending time with family, all these things put together 8 hours. That means that the maximum time when you are awake, you are in the organization, you are in a workplace. So if you keep your workplace happy, I always have that policy. When people come in, they should come in happily, and they should go out, they should go happily. But they have to work. Working, I don't compromise. If they don't work, I'll pull them. If they work, that is a kind of ambience I would like to have. Workplace culture, not only for leaders, for everyone is responsible for that, but for a leader, better conversation can improve the workplace culture. Now, coming to the second part of it. Sorry. Right. Next part about a good leader is self-awareness. I should know about myself. If I don't know about myself, there is no point in teaching or preaching to somebody that you do that and you don't know. I should know my strength as well, my weakness. A leader, while this is a more inwardly focused, that's what I use the word I. Any leader, like you, me, everybody, first we should know, we should look, we should internally we should assess our skill. Self-awareness is paramount for leadership. A leader should know what they can do, what they cannot do. That is a kind of assessment we should have. The better you understand yourself, the more effective you can be. because you know your strength as well, you know your weakness. If your weakness is known, definitely you know you will not be able to travel in that particular path because you are not confident of moving in that particular direction. Do you know how other people view you, or how you show up at work? It's a kind of a opposite side. First, you look at internal thing, and the other side, you look at your colleagues, your peers, your stakeholders, how people look at you. So this is a self-awareness component which we need to do, right? Gratitude. This is where many people they miss out the gratitude. Uh, 1 minute, huh? I'll call you. Gratitude. Giving thanks actually make you a better leader. How many of you have the habit of telling thanks to our colleagues or our friends when something good they do for you? Leela, Nair, Preeti, Rishi, right? So now I put a question. Assume, I presume that those who are married, okay, those who are married, how many times you said thank you to your spouse? Can you remember? All the time? Rishi Verma, number of times, almost, sometimes, Kumar says sometimes. PPT will come, Dr. Silva, we will come to PPT. Sometimes. How many times you told thanks to your parents? Many times. Often, always. Right. Now, a tricky question. If you are married and you have your own kids, how many times you have told thanks to your children? Leela Nair, she has spouse, parents, and children also. No, sir, Dr. Jayaprakash. Do say often to children, often. Right. So, no, we will stop with this many times, often, all these things. Right. Now I am not in chat. Those who are in chat, no need to reply. So now the question is, giving thanks will actually make you a better leader. So if you go home today, or you are at home today, if you are, then at the end of this particular one of our session, you can say whatever people do good to you, a simple thanks. Even if it is not good, say thanks. If our spouse is making a good lunch, even if there are some hiccups are there, you say wonderful lunch, nothing to lose. In fact, they'll feel happy because nobody voluntarily prepare a bad thing. Sometimes occasionally things may go wrong, doesn't matter. Right. Giving thanks is one of the characteristics of a good leader. Gratitude can lead to higher self-esteem, reduced depression and anxiety, and even better sleep you can get. Not necessarily a leader, an individual. Some people are deprived of their sleep, some people are struggling to get a good sleep. Getting into depression, the anxiety, whether to say thanks or not to say, whether to acknowledge or not to acknowledge. Don't have such a kind of reservation. Say thanks. It's a wonderful word which can bring you a solace, which can bring you peace of mind, which can get you even better sleep, and it lead to higher self-esteem. So I thank the so and so. I kept my parents happy. I kept my colleagues happy. I kept my spouse happy. I kept my children happy. So that is a kind of a self-esteem also will go up. Few people only, the research shows that only few people regularly say thank you at work. You can also see some people, for even unwanted things, they will say thank you. Don't get into such kind of character. Whatever you feel like, immediately utter your thanks to them. That will also help them to motivate them to work further. Right. Right. The word agility. Agility is one of the important word in today's context. One should be agile. One should be agile to get do the things. Learning agility is the ability to know what to do and when you don't know what to do. You should know what to do, when to do, and you also should know what you should not do. So that kind of a learning, it's a continuous basis. You should do that. If you are a quick study or are able to excel in unfamiliar situation, this is a kind of a thing. A leader is required to know how this kind of a characteristics. It is like connecting the dots. Connecting the dots. Unfamiliar situations or circumstances, you might already be learning agile. If you are good in handling the unfamiliar situation, first time you are encountering, but I know how to successfully do that. How many of you in that category? Mr. Manjunatha, you will have you requested for PPT. Yes, I'll give it to the organizers. They will pass on to you. Okay. How many of you are good in handling the unfamiliar situation? Screen will become short because I purposely did that. My question, I am looking at the chat box. That's the reason. Confident. Sinha says confident. Rajesh Kamath. Example means what? You want an example or what? You can come on audio also, doesn't matter. Let it be a kind of interactive one. Myself, Stephen. Chandra Malar. Monica Chandra, I can manage. I am confident, sir. Manjunatha. Okay. Right. You do your self-assessment. Again, I'll come back to that. So this unfamiliar circumstances, whenever you are encountering such kind of circumstances, don't move away. Don't give up. You try to handle. That's one of the things normally the leaders are expected to do. For example, I'll say I told that it will be of two parts. The new norm. COVID situation is an unfamiliar situation to everybody in the world. Everybody in the world. One of the interviews, you know, the company called India Hotels. This India Hotel is the Taj group of hotels owned by the India Hotels Limited. That's Ratan Tata's Tata Sons group, Polsey. They are the major shareholders in the India Hotels. And the CEO of India Hotels, in an interview, he was mentioning, remember, in the post-COVID situation, in the COVID situation, from March onwards, all the hotels, restaurants are closed. Slowly, they are limping back to normal. This interview was conducted sometime in June 2020. And a CEO of India Hotels, he was interviewed and he was telling, we have to upkeep our property. Here the property means Taj Hotel, etc., their property. And he said, he is from a premier B school from abroad. And he told, none of the B schools, so I repeat, none of the B schools have taught us how to run a business with zero income. Zero income, but a Taj Hotel has to run. You cannot keep your housekeeping people away. You cannot keep your, you cannot cut your electricity. You cannot shut down, send off people and other things. You have to run the show. You have to incur expenses, but income is zero. So beautifully, he was mentioning that this is a totally an unfamiliar situation wherein I have to run a business with a zero income. If income is negative also, it doesn't matter. If tomorrow I can come out with a good strategy and make the company profitable. But the whole hotel industry or tourism industry is shut during April, May, June. And under such circumstances, you have to run the show. If they are able to manage that situation, they are identified as the best leaders in the industry. If as an individual, if you can do that, then you can already say that you are learning the learning to be agile. Anybody can foster learning agility through practice, experience, and effort. It is not a mantra. One day you can get to know about how to become agile. This is possible. Agility is possible for you, everybody, out of practice, out of experience, and out of the effort that we are putting in to know or putting in to become agile. Okay? Right. The influence. Here you see that for some people, influence feels like a dirty word. It's not a kind of a recommendation. You go for a job and you get somebody's recommendation. That is not the influence we are talking about. Here, the influence means you do your job. You are radiating a positive vibration to your colleague sitting next to you. That is an influence. If you are not doing things correctly, you are passing on, you are influencing the others negatively. So it is not a dirty word. At home, when our children looks at us as a role model, whatever we do, they will follow. You cannot have two rules at home, norms at home, one for elders, one for youngsters. So whatever we do, they follow. So influence is a good word and not a dirty word. Being able to convince people through logical, emotional, or cooperative appeals is a component of being an inspiring, effective leader. We are not talking about other kind of leaders. Leaders are of different kind. And this particular quality of a leader, what we are talking about is an inspiring and effective leader. This inspiring and effective leader, who can be? Whether I can be or I want to be. These are all the questions in front of everybody. So when you can convince people through logical way of delivering things, convincing them, or through emotional aspects, or through cooperative appeals. This cooperative appeal, I say that together we win. Together we win. That means that individually you cannot win, I cannot win. But collectively, yes, we have the ability to complement each other, and through the cooperative way of working, we can win over the crisis. So that is a kind of inspiring and effective leaders' characteristics. Influence is quite different from manipulation. This is what I said, recommendation, manipulation, that kind of a thing. We are not talking about manipulation. It's about creating a vibe amongst your peers. And it need to be done authentically and transparently. Here, I would like to quote Ratan Tata. When the COVID pandemic has started, immediately from his group of companies, Tata Sons Limited, TCS, together, they have immediately gave 1,500 crores. They have given as a philanthropy to the government as well to the people who are working for that. That's one part of transparency. Without much funfair, without much announcement, Tata Sons Limited is giving this many crores. Tata Consultancy Services is giving this many crores, 1,500 crores they have given as a philanthropy to the needy people. Similarly, Azim Premji also give, and everybody, you and me, to the level what we can contribute, what we can contribute, we have contributed to the particular level. Transparently, it is done. Right? Apart from doing all those things, the Taj Hotel was working, and they were preparing 3 times meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the healthcare workers in Mumbai. They were supplying the food. This is what we get from the news. They were working. They were keeping their hotel busy by preparing food and supplying to the frontline healthcare workers in Mumbai. Right? The influence requires emotional intelligence and trust building. How can he influence? How can he influence the other person unless otherwise your integrity is high, the other person looks at you positively, believable, then they cannot, you will not be able to influence them. The trust building, this will not happen in one day. If you want to be a leader, over a period of time, you could have been looked at others as a trustworthy person. Now, otherwise, one day, if all of a sudden, if you do something, people may say that it's a one-shot game. It is not a kind of a going to be a continuous kind of a thing. So, trust building is very important. And then you should have emotional intelligence to get connected with people and influence people in their own domain. Empathy, that is looking things from others' shoes, is correlated with the job performance. And the critical part of emotional intelligence and leadership effectiveness. Everywhere we talk about leadership, the earlier one we were talking about the kind of a inspiring and effective leader. And here we are talking about leadership effectiveness. So if you want to be a real good, effective leader, then the critical part of emotional intelligence and this effectiveness is the empathy connected with the job performance. You may say you are not doing the job as expected. So if you say that you are not performing, a student is not performing in the examination, your colleague is not performing in their own when they come for assessment. So we have to look at things whether look from the other side, not from your side, from the other side, what limitation they have, what are the problems they have to perform or not to perform. Sometimes a good performer, if they are put in a wrong job, they may not perform. As a leader, you should identify the correct job for the correct person. If there is a mismatch, definitely what we call about this particular two words, job performance, it will be negative. So look the performance from the other side. Look at from their shoes, you can look at it. Again, empathy can be learned. By birth, nobody has that particular thing to have empathy. It can be learned, it can be nurtured. So slowly and steadily, we are looking at a thing that leadership can come, leadership traits can be acquired. It can be practiced. You can become a good leader over the years. Even today, if you may not be the good leader, you may be good working personality. But tomorrow you have head an organization, head a division. So at that time, you need to be a good leader, and that can be learned. And in addition to making you more effective, it will also improve work for you and those around you. For you as well, for your people around you. This is more important because, as already said, good ambience will keep not only you happy, but also your colleagues in a happy mode, right? Courage. Oh, this is what a great thing. Courage is a key skill for good leaders. Rather than avoiding problems or allowing conflicts to fester, courage enables leaders to step up and move things in the right direction. Can anybody give an example for a courageous businessman in the COVID period? Can somebody give any doctors?
Asian Paints, sir. I could not remember exactly. I think it's Asian Paints or Burger Paints. Even though in this pandemic situation, they have announced the increment, to the employees.
Oh, giving the increment to the employees, right?
Yeah.
Right. Ratnagar, SSS Bhavan, you doctors, police doctors. Somebody said Mukesh Ambani, Himadri Sinha. Can I see you online? Who is that?
Yeah, I'm Himadri Singh.
Now, why do you say Mr. Mukesh Ambani?
No, I have seen him making the new, he's signing the various contracts in the pandemic situation. Anybody would be little conservative in the sense, but he's taking risk. And also, I mentioned doctors who are taking the risk. But I find it that he is taking the risk. He has the courage.
Yes, the courage. Okay. Okay. People are okay. I'll get back. Thank you, Mr. Himadri Sinha. You are from?
Yeah. I'm from Exercise Ranchi.
Pardon?
I'm from Ranchi, Xavier
Ranchi.
Excise.
From which institute?
We are from the Xavier Institute of Management.
Okay, fine. Right. Thank you, Mr. Sinha. Right. There are a number of people: Bill Gates, Tony Robbins, Roshni Nadar Malhotra taking a risk, Elon Musk for taking risk, delivery boys, also Mr. Tata, Ratnagar, doctors, police, Mukesh Ambani, right, doctors, right. Okay. The thing is, I'm talking about businessmen. Yes, police, they need to be saluted. Doctors, yes, they need to be worshipped, because healthcare workers, they are the people that they risk their lives and taking care of the patients. High level of risk they were being exposed, but still they love their profession and save many lives in this particular situation. They also need to be highly appreciated. When we talk about business, on March 23rd, when the lockdowns were announced by the governments, central and state governments, suddenly there was a huge jerk in the markets. Not only Indian market, throughout the world it has fallen. And any company's shareholding, Reliance was also crashing. It was hovering around 1,100 or 200. It came down to 800 plus. Almost one third is gone. Like any other company, no company was spared, and this company was also getting hammered in the stock markets. It has come down. See, this company was working for many tie-ups over a period of time for their Geo platform, which is part of the Reliance Industries. And the company used, since this opportunity that COVID, whatever the worst one sees, that it is going to be a temporary phenomena. Till the time vaccine is developed, this will be there. And once vaccine is developed, world has come back to normal. But till the time vaccine is developed, world is going to undergo a turmoil. That's number one. Number two, when the entire world is locked down, people at home, they don't know what to do except to look at the television, look at the internet. Without internet, nobody can, even you and me, without internet, we cannot have this particular FDP. So people cannot survive without internet for a day or two. That's a kind of issue that has come in. Beautifully, they cashed it. And whatever the discussions they had with people for selling a part of platforms share to business abroad, including Facebook, etc., etc. So they took up this particular risk and moved forward. And as I already told, that was a time when Reliance Industries were have announced their rights issue also. Rights issue was around the corner. COVID was the issue, and rights issue price was around 1,200. Okay. When price was 800, it has come to 800. Who will subscribe to the rights issue? Would have got bounced. But what happened was the company was very shrewd enough and moved professionally well during this COVID period. That shows the leadership characteristics of the Mr. Mukesh Ambani and his team. So they moved very well and announced all these investments that are coming. And from low of 800 plus, it has crossed the threshold level of 1,200, which is fixed as a benchmark for their rights issue of shares of Reliance Industries. Then moved to 1,400 and stabilized around that time, slightly moved down, moved upward, 1,800, 2,000. Now it is 2,300 something. It has gone now 2,100 or something. It's moving around. See the price fluctuation from 1,200 per share to 800 plus per share to 2,300, 52-week high. So this, they were able to do it just by what is having they are running the business. And this particular time, the leaders were not afraid of the situation. In fact, they calculated the situation is going to be temporary, and within a short span of time, this problem will get over. They immediately announced these kind of tie-ups, and the company was so successfully rewarded its stakeholders by making this announcement stakeholders are happy, and stock market is has very well received this particular announcements, and prices have gone up. So that's the beauty of this particular company, and leadership of this particular institution that has seen to that the company is, stakeholders are highly benefited. That's the thing we are talking about. Courage is a key skills for good leaders. Pure courage. So in a pandemic situation, whatever the strategy they have taken would have boomeranged also. But they know they have done the homework very well, and they have worked out very well. Even during the pandemic time, stock which is crashed by 1/3, 33% can be lifted up by another 100%. That shows the kind of leader. So those who want to invest, they will go at whose back. This kind of courageous leaders only they will like to go. Rather than avoiding problems or allowing conflicts to fester, courage enables leaders to step up and move things in the right direction. Whenever there is a problem, you step in. Leaders to step up and move things in the right direction. For example, if you take, again, I take Ratan Tata because these are all the icons and the industry. When Taj Hotel, when it got into problems some time back, and it had come under a terrorist attack and other things. We are not talking about those attacks and other things. We are talking about a leader. When the workers, the executives, workers, blue-collar workers in the Taj Hotel, they were all trapped in the particular situation, and when the hotel was opened out of the control of the police force or military, Ratan Tata immediately visited the entire campus by himself, and also he visited the families of those who lost their lives in the particular incident. Visited their house and took the entire responsibility of bringing up their children, and Tata Sons will take care of them. So that is a kind of leadership one looks at, appreciate. The courage enables the leaders to step up and move things in the right direction. So once a leader, chairman, does a particular thing, the families that are affected, they gain confidence. They don't look at the future as bleak one. They gain confidence. Yes, the management is with us, and we can do wonderful things in the time to come. Right? Right. Now, let me go slightly fast. Respect. Treating people with respect on a daily basis is one of the most important things a leader can do. The most important word I use here is on a daily basis. What is meant by daily basis? Even it's like putting one drop of poison in one pot of milk. One day, if you don't do that, or if you're doing it on the other side badly, the whole exercise, what trust you have built with your own people, that will go bad. So on a daily basis is one of the most important things a leader can do. It will ease tensions and conflict and create trust and improve effectiveness. So the tensions, conflicts, because you are seeing people face to face and smiling at them and then respecting them in their own domain. So it eases tension and also reduces the conflict, and it gives a trust that yes, I have a boss with whom I can freely speak, talk to, and he is trustworthiness. That is a kind of thing you can develop. Now, earlier I said about the communication. 5 tips for effective communication. See, we can say that it should be a good communication you should have to become a good leader. One of the slides, earlier slides I was mentioning. Communicate relentlessly. Don't have a short communication, because the communication is basically what you want to communicate should reach the audience in the same way as you want to. This is what the definition of communication. There should not be any distortion in between. There should not be any noise or scope for misunderstanding that should be there. So relentlessly communicate. Simplify and be direct. Don't talk in general terms. If you want to say something good, something bad, be direct. and say, yes, you could have done it better, rather than saying that you have done bad, you could have done it better. This is the way, if you do it, you can do it better. So listen and encourage input. This is one of the things for a effective, efficient leader. Listen. Unless you listen, you will not be able to understand the other person. It's like you will not have the empathy. So try to listen, encourage inputs. You try to encourage input, because management, we would have studied the grapevine source of information also. So develop such kind of things also. A leader should have all the inputs with them, so that he can take a quality, good decision. Illustrate through stories. You can even, not necessary that you can tell somebody to do like this. You can say somebody else has done like this, you can do this. For example, 2 examples I gave you. How Mr. Mukesh Ambani has done the business as a leader, business leader. He is most respected by his own shareholders and his own business people, that he is able to understand. And that understanding and that risk-taking ability, now we can imbibe to whoever we are in interaction with that. So illustrate through stories. Affirm with actions. You can also do that. Everybody jump, I will not jump, don't do that. And you can always try to imbibe confidence in people. The inherent qualities of a great leader: focus on we and not on I. There are 10 qualities, inherent qualities that is required for somebody to be identified as a great leader. It's not I, it's we. Full responsibility to be accepted in the case of failure. It's most important. I gave an example of Dr. Abdul Kalam during the Agni launch. He accepts full responsibility. Do the right thing. We are watched. That's what we said, that we need to first understand ourselves, and then we have to do the right thing. If we do the wrong thing and ask others to do the right thing, they will not do. Definitely they will not do. Be a visionary. So the examples I gave for visionary, you can take it. Be passionate about winning. Winning. Some people say that winning is a hobby. I am habituated to winning. So I am passionate about winning. Sometimes you may lose, but have that passion of winning. Keep a positive attitude. Build a strong relationship with stakeholders. Be composed during tough times. COVID time is one of the tough times. If you are becoming panic, if you are a leader becoming panic, your entire organization will crumble. If you say that, I don't know what to do, I don't know how COVID is going to spread. Let's assume you are a CEO. If you make such kind of statements, and immediately your colleagues will think that you are going to shut down the company and they will move out. Okay. During tough time, be composed. Listen to others. Keep on, because the situations are fluid. The situation is unforeseen. So listen to doctors, listen to healthcare people, listen to World Health Organization, leaders, how they are going to plan their business. Then celebrate progress. Every time you make a small improvement, celebrate it. Life is there for enjoying the whole thing. Celebrate it. Now the question comes whether you are going to be a difference between a boss and a leader. So you identify whether you are a boss or a leader. Drives employees the hard way, depends on authority, inspires fear, inculcates fear. Boss is coming. Hey, boss is coming. Pull up your socks. No. Against which it coaches them. Leader coaches them. On goodwill, he commands authority, generates enthusiasm, and says we and not I, fixes the breakdowns, places blame for breakdown. You are responsible. Don't say that. Let us say we are responsible. We will sort it out. Together we win. Already I told you. Shows how it is done, develops people. Here you see that uses people and throw them away. Use for the occasion, don't acknowledge, don't give any kind of benefit to them, and then throw them away. Next time people will not do for you. Whereas here gives credit, and here it is commands, here it is a request. Politely you can ask, people will do. Let's go. Here nothing, says go, otherwise get out. Here let's go. Like job is over, let's move to the next stage. Now a question, whether you consider yourself to be a boss or a leader. You can come on chat. Who feels that I'm a boss? Nobody's listening, or everybody muted and gone for lunch?
No, sir, it's going great, sir.
Yes, sir, we are busy, sir.
We are asking whether anybody comes under the category boss.
All our leaders only, sir.
Sir, I hope initially we are all boss. Once by an experience and exposure,
Right.
learning things, then we
Right,
become
good.
the leaders. But always we not be the leader. All the time we will not be the leader. Sometimes we are the boss, and then rest of the time we'll go for the leader.
Sometimes we are the boss, and which is majority. Mr. Vivekananda,
I think most probably, if practically speaking,
Mr. Vivekananda, we'd like to see you on screen.
my camera is under the process.
Okay.
So let me join. Sir, practically speaking, everybody wants to be a boss.
Right.
Only a few people want to become a leader.
Can you do that bossism at home?
Please, sir?
Can you do? Will you continue to be a boss at home?
No, definitely. Whereas in the case of home, I am not a boss, I am not a leader, I am a participant. If I be the boss, I be the leader, then I will not run my family so smoothly.
Oh, very nice of you, Mr. Vivekananda. Nice of you. He goes practically. That okay. If you get into bossism at home, you are out. You are out. That he has understood, and probably he will have a most beautiful, peaceful life over there. Okay. Then we will come to the. Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
whether you are a boss or a leader, we should be empathetic, sir.
We should
if empathy plays a role, then you can neither be a boss nor a leader. Right. You will be a co-participant.
You'll be a co-participant. Now, the role switching, that's one of the things which we are studying. Always it happens. Sometimes we have to be a boss, sometimes we have to be a leader. But being a boss is easy, but being a leader is difficult. Because
very difficult.
You need to nurture yourself, you need to spend a lot of time in molding your character to become a leader. But what happens, in case if you are not putting that much of time, you in the sense, when you teach to your students also, when we are not putting enough adequate time to nurture ourselves or our own character molding to become a leader, what will happen is, that's where we see certain leaders as only bosses. We don't see them as leaders. Leader is one who take everybody with them. Boss is the one who always commands, and probably those who are listening to his command only will be with him or her. Others will move away. Okay. So this is an exercise that what leadership qualities are available and how to mold ourselves to become leaders. That's what we are talking about. We'll go through and then come back. It's a new norm, post-COVID, new norm we are there. And McKinsey has given a lot of things. Let's say leadership in a crisis, responding to the coronavirus outbreak and future challenges. This is what they are coming out in some of their what do you call materials or documents. For many executives, the pandemic is a crisis unlike any other in recent times. They don't know what to do. They really don't know what to do, because if you are running loss, we can look at the strategic management book, we can discuss with people and come out with good amount of turnaround strategies and implement it. And as I already told you, the India Hotel CEO says that no B school has taught us how to run a business with zero income. Income is zero, but expenditure have to happen. You have to pay the electricity bill, you have to pay the internet charges, you have to pay the salary, you have to upkeep your property. All these things requires money. You have to pay the taxes in such case, last year tax you need to pay now. Everything has to go, but nobody has checked into your hotel. No income has come, but all expenditures. So that also it's a fresh new experience. So the leadership practices, 5 behaviors to help leaders during this kind of pandemic time and recovery time to navigate things. Okay. So what are the 5 behaviors? Organizing via network of teams. This is more important. Now we are also doing the same thing that otherwise, if this is not their FDP through online, people from different states would not have come together via network of teams, displaying deliberate calm and bounded optimism. It's not an unbounded optimism, it is a bounded optimism. So, a classic case of thing is Reliance. Bounded optimism. They know that COVID situation is going to be temporary, it's going to get solved within a year or 15 months at time, and the business life will be normal afterwards. We had different kind of pandemic situations, not of this alarming proposition, but still they know. Making decisions amid uncertainty. This is what example of Reliance I gave. And the India hotels also, I would like to tell you this, because some of the companies I closely watch for their behavior, for their management, for their leadership position. This India hotels, I already told, it is owned by Tata Sons. It has come down from 160, 170 rupees for a 1 rupee share. It has come down to 60 rupees, 62 rupees. Even today, they don't have a business. Only expenditure happened. But people gained confidence in investing in that, making decisions amid uncertainty. The prices has gone to 110 rupees and now it is around 90 rupees. So this is a kind of fluctuation. People believe the company, believe the management, they make decision even under a fluid situation. Demonstrating empathy, communicating effectively. Communicating effectively, I already spoke about it. What leaders need during a crisis is not a predefined response. This is exactly what we need to do that. Many of the things, even in your institutions or in your business, you would have done, because you cannot predefine your response. Because nobody knows what's going to be the reaction for that. Not in a predefined response plan, but behaviors and mindsets that will prevent them from overacting to yesterday's developments and help them to look ahead. Don't get panicked by it. But today you see that in March end, April, people are so highly scared to come out of the house. Governments were also telling that don't come out of the house. Now today, people are attending to office. People are traveling. People are going to make purchases. What has changed? As a COVID problem is settled, whether any medicine has been come out to treat that particular problem, or is there any preventive medicine has come to solve or prevent such kind of happening? Nothing. But yesterday's development, we have learned things of social distancing, wearing the mask, and not touching things unwantedly. So these kind of things that has helped ourselves to come out of the COVID situation, right? That is true for business also, right? Organizing to respond to crisis. The network of teams, already I told you, it is a network of teams. So there are around 8 kind of teams they have identified during a crisis. It's an illustration from McKinsey that has come. Medical advisory, response leadership team. Medical advisory says that don't open the office, it's highly risky, don't do that. Network project management, you do that. There has to be a team, response team led actions to be there. And action teams, this is response team, leadership, this leadership team, this is action team, execution. External communication, then financial stress for the organization, supply chain disruptions, then colleague outreach. Now we are all colleagues from different parts of the country, we are all together during this particular time. We use the technology for that. And then real estate, whether to have office space or to surrender the office space for business, because it's not at all required. When you are operating through online, office spaces are going to be surplusly available, and these are all the sub characteristics what McKinsey has identified. Financial means financial stress testing. Company without income, it has to face expenditures. How it is possible? That need to be looked at. Integrated nerve centers. Many cases, network of teams will include an integrated nerve center covering 4 domains. Workforce protection. This is very important, because next slide also will tell you about this particular thing. The workforce need not get panicked. There are companies which has announced, we are not going to send anybody out of work. We will keep you. Even in 2008, when the world is facing the economic meltdown, every IT company was facing the problem of pink slip. Pink slip, everybody goes to office the next morning, they're afraid whether I'll have the job or I'll be thrown out of the job. I'll be thrown out of the job. Today night they will not sleep because tomorrow morning you don't know whether to have a job or not. The Infosys was the first company to announce we are not going to issue any pink slip. That was in 2008. Any pink slip we are going to do. Whereas we are going to reduce the salary. If somebody is getting 1 lakh rupees, we are going to slash 20%. We are going to get 80,000. People are happy because tomorrow job is there. I can sleep tonight. But only thing, I will not have 1 lakh. I will have 80,000 rupees in hand next month. So that is workforce protected. Even many companies in this COVID situation, they announced that we are not going to have the downsize. We will have the same force retained. Then supply chain stabilization. The entire thing, it's a knee-jerk reaction that the supply chain got disrupted because we get a lot of components from China, components from other places, we export other places. The entire movement of transportation got affected, so supply chain got affected. The customer engagement, you have to tell your customer, yes, we are there and we will come back again to see that whatever you want will be given. Even during crisis time, the network problem is there, mobile problem is there, all service things were working and people are online, companies are helping people online. Financial stress, I already told you. Evaluating leaders during a crisis, the value of deliberate calm versus bounded optimism. Deliberate calm. People will deliberately keep quiet because whatever you say, people are, media is watching, your colleagues are watching, it will create panic. The bounded optimism, yes, tomorrow will be happy. Just as an organization, senior executives must be prepared to temporarily shift some responsibilities from their command and control hierarchy to network of teams. See that hierarchical change, command and control to network. They also empower others to direct many aspects of the organization's crisis response. Firefighting, it is shared. This involves granting them authority to make and implement decisions without having to gain approval. Firefighting has to be done without getting approval. Right. Making decisions amid uncertainty, fast to assess, stop and proceed. This is like amber in a signal. Fast to assess a situation, anticipate the situation and then act. Okay. This fast, assess, anticipate cycle is very, very, very well used during this pandemic time. Demonstrating empathy. You can see this, the photo itself will tell you, the faces are not shown, but the way the photography is taken, mother, son, or elderly person and a young boy, it's like giving some comfort. This is not a kind of a happy situation you can see. This is like the color of the photograph, the people's back only it was taken, it shows a grim situation. An elderly lady is trying to give some solace to a younger person. That's what demonstrating empathy. Deal with the human tragedy as a first priority. Don't get panic. I am there. That is a kind of message this photographs and this wordings that gives to the people who look at it. Demonstrating empathy, okay, same thing. Maintain transparency and provide frequent updates. This is what medical advisory during the COVID time has come. Every day, the government spokesman has come and they were updating people on what to do, what not to do, and how to keep people happy during this particular pandemic time. Right. So, the sustained leaderships for future beyond the COVID economy downturns. Yes, COVID has pulled the economy down, and how we have to look at the things beyond the COVID time. The paradox is that during the emergency, sense of purpose seemed crystal clear. Act now. We have to act now. Today's leadership focuses on intelligence, market intelligence, internal intelligence on micro and macro factors, innovation. Now this FDP is online. Earlier, if last year, if I had the commerce department has promoted this online thing, many of you would not have come and joined. Now you have the opportunity to join. It's an innovation that has come in. Cutting across boundaries. Now from all the states you are able to access and participate. You can go international also. Then resource building, bringing new knowledge and financial partners for compounding effect, making investment. There are companies, they made a good amount of investment during this particular time to gain a market share in the future. Okay. That's what I wanted to do. Thank you so much. Now it's a few minutes left. Any questions, you can come online. And if you further have any questions, this is my email ID. This is my mobile number. Anybody want to contact, you can contact me for future correspondence. Right. Thank you so much for your patiently listening, participation. Now you can come on live for question and answer session for a few minutes.
Hello, sir. I am Vadivel.
Where you are? Okay, okay. From you can introduce yourself quickly, Mr. Vadivel.
So I am Vadivel, assistant professor in National Institute of Engineering, Mysore.
Nice to know you.
So my question is, how difficult that empathy should practically implemented in real time life? Because putting in other person perspective, it is very difficult. Which I'm feeling that.
Right. Mr. Vadivel, you are married?
Yeah, married, sir.
Blessed with how many kids?
Only one son.
One son.
5 years old.
5 years old. Okay. Let's say I am also married and I have a couple of sons. So let's say my son is somebody is walking, he is falling down. What will be my reaction?
Okay. Immediately you want to save, maybe you want to help your son.
Yes, just to fallen down, not broken his limbs or something, he has fallen down. What will you advise me to do? Hey, Baba, nothing here. It all happens.
Next time don't fall in that place. Maybe I will pinpoint that.
Immediately you give them confidence that nothing is, it's not crestfallen, nothing is worst has happened. You are all right. Yeah. That kind of confidence you give, and that will give them a kind of a positive attitude to come out of that particular shock. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And like that, you do it at home. When I can do it for my son, you can do it for your son, your family, your office, your colleagues, your neighbors. You can do that. Okay. It's the only thing. People should be broad-minded to get into other shoes and look at the problem. That's it. That's what empathy is. Sometimes it may not be, we may not be having it. Practice it. It will come.
Yeah. Sometimes if you are doing that, empathy things, the people are thinking wrongly, sir. You are.
It will happen. It will happen. Always when you have a white sheet and put a black dot, what is there in? If you ask people, will say one black dot. There will be millions of white dots available. Nobody will see that. So it's a one-off case, you can leave it. Okay. Without looking at others, without having empathy, you cannot be a good leader. That's what we are talking about. Apart from human being, we are talking about leader in this particular 1.5 hours. So that leadership quality, if you want to have, one of the most important thing is that you should have empathy.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Vadivel. Any other question?
Sir, can I have a question, sir?
Mr. Karthikeyan, you can introduce yourself.
I'm Karthikeyan, sir, working as lecturer in PNTR Polytechnic College, Rajapalem, sir.
Rajapalem. But louder, please. Come closer to your mic.
Yeah. Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah. Okay, you are all right.
Many of the employees are so successful when they are employees, whereas when they become leaders, why do they fail miserably, sir?
Not that all the people miserably they fail. People do fail because you always cannot count that all the eggs will convert into a chick. Some will go flaw also. And say over a period of time, you presume that one day you will be at the helm of affairs.
Okay.
If you see, you are also a child, you are also a boy, you are also an adult, you are also a grown-up person, you are educated, you got married, you you have your kids, you become a family head, you become older. Like that in an organization, you grow over the ladder. One day you will become a boss, because we always criticize a boss. That should not be the case. You role play. In management, what we call it as a role play. If I was a boss, if I am sitting in that position, what I will do? So normally I practice it. That's why there's no cribbing you from the other side. I have my own strategy to counter. Okay, they might have done like this. If I am given an opportunity, I may do like this. That's the kind of a thing. So you can practice it; it will come always.
No, I'm not telling that all the employees, when they become leaders, they fail. Say, for example, in cricket, Sachin Tendulkar is one of the finest batsmen we have ever seen, sir, in cricket history. But no, when he was elevated into the captaincy, he was a miserable failure. In that tendency, I just asked these questions actually. In that preview only, I asked that question. It doesn't mean that everybody gets failed, sir.
Right.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your.
I'll give an answer to you.
Sure,
Sachin is one of the most interesting cricketers to follow.
Okay.
He was successful as a batsman.
Okay.
He came as a captain, and there also he was doing very well. But he knows that he is not able to concentrate on both captaincy and batting. Only he left captaincy. How many captains, if you are in industry also, if you are in education, if you are in cricket or football, whatever it is, how many people will leave the captaincy and work as a number 2 or number 3? Ego. They will not leave it. Because he left the captaincy, he was able to have a long cricketing career in front of him.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir.
Had he continued as a captain, he would have been thrown out earlier.
Definitely.
He would have been shown door earlier. 2-3 years before itself, he would have been asked to go, or he would have got retired.
Definitely.
His decision was so strategic. He has understood himself very well, and he was a good leader to know his limitations also. And his love for continuing in cricket was so long, so high, and he decided to continue as a batsman.
There was a perception that when he was captaining Indian side, many of the fellow players, sir, did not contribute for the success of the Indian team. That was one.
No, that's not the thing we can debate. He knows what he wants, and he was happy to have a long career. I really follow him in all my strategies. Many other times I said no to my administration and come as a professor and sit. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Right. Definitely, sir. Thank you very much, sir. That was a wonderful session, sir. I was overwhelmed by your mellifluous voice, sir. That was so interesting and it was so good, sir.
Thank you so much.
So pleased to hear your voice also. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, nice of you.
Thank you, sir.
Nice of you, Dr. Karthikeyan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other question? $120. Gurumati sir,
Okay.
If you want to contact me, I already gave the mobile number and email ID. You can contact through that. Okay. Gurumati sir.
Okay, thank you very much for your nice.
No, let me complete it. Thank you so much, sir, for giving me an opportunity to be part of this FDP, and really congratulate you and your team for successfully applying the innovative one which you got, and you have roped in a great number of people in this particular 160 people have logged in, and till the last I could see that when I started it was 154 or something. Now it's 146 people. So I'm happy that all the people are very serious in getting the inputs from this particular FDP, and I'm sure the objective of this FDP as conceived by the Department of Commerce, you and your team, is yielding the results, sir. I wish you all the best for the next 5 days of program. I wish all the participants to have a great time. Thank you very much for patient listening and giving me an opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All the participants, they have enjoyed the session, and they are becoming resourceful, and the participants, their interaction is noteworthy, and their interest in participating the event shows that this program is reaching its objectives, and very good. I thank all the participants that they voluntarily come forward to interact and they learn. They are so active, and each and every minute they are watching the program, watching the lecture, and they are so much interested in typing the messages. So the team, as a coordinator, I am so thankful to them. And if the participant of this order are attending the program, it is really a great honor to the organizers and the university. So I am so thankful to the Vice Chancellor and authorities of the university. They have supported a lot. Similarly, I thank the AICT ATAL, because of this scheme, all the participants are here. So all the participants, I thank you very much. Please you attend, please you come to our place around 2:20 p.m. for the next session. Professor Shanmugha Sundaram from Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi will address to you. Banaras Hindu University professor will address to you around 2:20. Please attend the sessions, log in 2:20. And now the lunch break is there. You take your lunch, happy lunch, be happy, and happily take your lunch. And the same happiness you ensure in our next sessions. So thank you very much, Professor Sandil. Thank you all the participants. Okay, we meet 2:30. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.